quick tutorial for the stretching session. I'm going to run through it as a bit of a flow, so you could do this if you're short on time. If you have a little bit more time though, ideally you would sit kind of in each position, each hold, anywhere between 30 and 60, maybe even 90 seconds kind of in each one, kind of stretch into it. You could also run through the whole series a couple times. Well, actually a little bit of demo. So first we can sit on our toes like this. Just kind of sitting straight back. Again, if you need a little bit more, you can lean all the way back. And then we'll transition from that to just a bit of a sitting on our flat feet. Same thing. If you want a little bit more, you can lean all the way back, hanging out here. The next thing we're going to do is a little bit of a kneeling transition to squat. So from this, toes tucked under, down here, and you're just transitioning up into a squat and then back down. So you're working on that full range of motion through your ankles and your toes, trying to work on this being nice, slow, smooth, and controlled back and forth. Working from there, then we can take our feet a little bit wider. We're going to sit down into a deep squat, sitting at the bottom. We can take our elbows, push our knees out. From here, we can just kind of rock into each ankle, rock into each hip, kind of get the feet moving. Do some figure eights, play around here. We can also play around with getting nice and upright, staying in that deep squat. Play, have some fun. From here, hands go down to the ground, straighten your legs up, get a bit of a hammy stretch. You can kind of twist and alternate for like an elephant walk, get left and right, hanging out there, getting into the hammies. Then we can walk straight back into a bit of a downward dog. From there, we're going to bring a foot up into a bit of a lizard lunge. We can hang out in the lizard lunge there, toe tucked under, drop the knee, flatten the foot. We can come all the way up, get a bit of a hip flexor stretch. Key thing here, tuck the pelvis under as you come forwards. Hanging out here, then we can rock the foot off to the side, same thing, tuck the pelvis under, come straight over that outside foot. Hanging out here for a nice little stretch, and then straight out to the side. Tuck the pelvis under, and then rock straight to the side. This way you should feel kind of in both groins. Hanging out there. Good. And then when we come back, we're going to come back into a bit of a hammy stretch again here. So you can rock back as far as you like. Straighten out that front leg. You can pick up your toes if you want. Key thing is you can arch your back, lean forwards, get a bit of a hammy stretch. Work through that stretch. From there, we can come back into our lunge, pop back up into a downward dog, bring that same foot up into a nice pigeon, releasing our back foot so it's flat on the ground. If we want more, we can come down, hanging out there again for a while. From there, we'll come back up into our downward dog, and then we would repeat. So we can bring the other leg forwards, go into our lunge stretch. We have our 3 different positions. So we'll be stretching here, up to the side, and then straight up to the side, rocking back into our hamstring stretch, and then through downward dog into our pigeon. After that, we want to get into a bit of a groin stretch, so kneeling on one knee, other foot out to the side, trying to think about keeping this as a nice straight line here. Getting a bit of a groin stretch here, and then sinking forwards and backwards. Wherever you find a nice stretch, you can kind of find it, hanging out there, and then just working through that full range of motion. We'll switch sides so you can see what the other half of it looked like. So again, basically what I've done is I've uprighted myself on my right, left leg straight out to the side, trying to keep the foot flat on the ground, like this, pointing forwards, and then again, just rocking through that full range of motion, kind of working through the groin. Repeating that on both sides. Our couch stretch will utilize a wall here. Basically what that looks like, foot goes up against the wall like this. Come again into a bit of a lunge, and then just lean back. You should get a nice big quad stretch, quite a bit lower. Hanging out there, trying for at least a minute. Do that on both sides. Then we can work into a bit of a butterfly. Bringing the toes in nice and close, using our elbows to just gently push our knees down. From From there, we can transition into a bit of a 90-90, just making sure that each limb is in a 90-degree angle, keeping our hands off the ground, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to rotate over towards our back knee and try to lean towards the back knee, hanging out there, and then we can transition and do the other side as well. Try to have a transition without your hands, and just rock over, and then same thing, do flip and try to stretch. And then lastly, we can get into the spine, a little bit of a spinal rotational stretch, just dropping the leg off to the side, really rotating, turning the head the opposite direction, hanging out there for like a minute or two, let things open up, twist, and rotate. That was kind of a really quick, brief rundown. Basically, just spend time wherever you feel like you need it to kind of work through a little bit of kind of a hip opening, hip stretch, and a little bit of ankle and foot mobility.